Sa gitna ng samot-saring isyong ibinabato laban sa kanyang pamilya, nananatiling matibay at may paninindigan para sa bayan. Bit-bit ang mga pangakong pagbabago para sa ikabuunlad ng bansa. Trabaho para sa mga Pilipino, murang kuryente, industrialisasyon, kalidad na edukasyon, reforma sa iba't ibang sektor, at pagkakaisa ng sambayanang Pilipino ang sentro ng kanyang kampanya.
Bilang Pangulo ng Republika ng Pilipinas, sinabi ko na ako'y tatakbo dahil ang aking layunin, ang aking ating bansa ay ipagkaisa muli ang sambayanang Pilipino. Pagandahin po natin ang ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas. Sama-sama po tayong papaguli.
Tumatakbong Pangulo mula sa Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.
Tumaas na ulit yung ano niya, ang view agad oh. Nag-aabang lang kay Marcos yung mga tao eh. Okay na guys, mag-start na tayo ng interview ni Bongbong Marcos. Nire-record ko dito kasi i-upload ko. Mga comment section dito puro BBM. Oh, 131 na. Pagpasok pa lang ng BBM talagang ano na eh. Parang presidente na ang dating oh. Pagpasok pa lang ni BBM, presidente na ang dating, marami na naka-escort. Pakinggan na natin guys yung mga tanong, mga sasagot ni BBM. Ang dami kanina wala nagpapa-member saka nagpa-super chat eh, ngayon meron na oh. Yes, meron na mga super chatter.
You may now sit down, Senator Marcos.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
May we request the audience to please sit down so we can start the
Nagsilapitan
program.
ng mga nagsilapitan ng mga tao.
Everyone, can we ask everyone to please sit down so we can start the program?
Siguro kung si Bongbong Marcos ang una-unang interview, pagkatapos ng interview na umalis na lahat ng tao, wala nang manood doon sa sunod.
Thank you.
Kaya sinadya itong panghuli lagi si Marcos sa interview kasi siya ang inaabangan ng tao eh.
Okay. Senator Marcos, you have the floor and the panelists will be asking you questions.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Marcos.
Good evening, ma'am.
If this were, I've never been to a campaign rally, but if this looks like it, and maybe multiplied so many times over, I can imagine what you're feeling is like euphoria, isn't it?
It's,
because we're not even involved and we're feeling euphoric here.
It's very encouraging, ma'am. That's true.
Okay, this is the second time we are going through this, but this time it will be banter. Nothing aggressive nor belligerent. You have the thickest portfolio here. I counted more than 50 pages which were submitted to the network and which were given to us.
Madaming,
So, like I have 1,000 questions, but since I have 3 other colleagues here, maybe I'll ask something which is right in my alley. And I think I have asked this also in my posts in the social media. And post-Ukraine, assuming that you have a peace agreement within the next 2 weeks, which is more likely, do you see a new political and economic order, but this time you have other political actors like Moscow, Beijing, and even Tehran?
Yes.
What's your take on that?
There will be a new world order. Because I think watching Ukraine and seeing the developments, and which are not exactly going the way of that the President Putin would have wanted it to. I suspect there will be domestic implications to whatever the peace agreement is going to be. I hope you're right, that it will be done in 2 weeks, because we are the whole entire world is suffering. But there will be a very big change, because the how do you say, the idea, I think some of the analysts have said, I don't know if you agree with this, is that President Putin is trying to reconstruct or recreate the Soviet Union under another name. So perhaps this was his move. Should he weaken as a political figure in his own country, in Russia, then certainly the policy, that policy of trying to gain territory through whatever means, as he says, because to provide for him a buffer to NATO, whatever the reason might truly be. I think that will have to be re-studied by whoever will be most dominant in Russian domestic politics after Putin. So yes, I believe there will be a new world order, and I think I am certain that Tehran and Beijing are watching very, very closely what will happen to Ukraine. There will be a geopolitical balance of power. It also depends on what the reaction of the EU and the United States will be. I think the United States we can predict fairly accurately. EU is in a more difficult spot simply because they are highly dependent for their energy to Russia, and how they will balance that. I know that the President Biden has just signed with the EU a deal to supply from the United States and from other countries 15 billion tons of gas, which will cover some of the needs of the EU. But again, that's not something that can instantly be made, to instantly be applied. There will be a transition period because it is a very large economic infrastructure that has been developed for Europe to take advantage of the gas supplies out of Russia. These are all terribly large forces, and inevitably will change things.
Yeah, well, it seems like you have a more dire scenario, future scenario in mind. But what I have used really is from a content analytical perspective, using events data analysis, meaning I'm paying attention to the verbs being used by the negotiators. And this is not Pollyannish, by the way, Mr. Marcos. It's just that I feel that Putin will not allow the conflict to spill over. It will encapsulate within the Ukraine, a conflict area. And that, yes, I still believe that within the next 2 weeks you have a peace agreement.
I sincerely hope so, because misunderstandings, mistakes can occur. With Poland being right there on the border of Ukraine, we already have had reports of missiles that mistakenly flew into Poland. And these are the kind of things that we have to be very careful about. I think maybe that is one thing that they can agree upon, Russia and the West, as we have referred to it often.
Mr. Marcos, earlier, I don't know if you were around already when I asked questions about the projected state visit of Vladimir Putin here in the Philippines. Because the Duterte administration has only so many more breaths to take before the end of their regime, of their tenure. When you become president, will you honor that